Hello everybody, thanks for watching Drywall Repairman. If you haven't subscribed or liked, please go ahead and do that at the end of the video. So basically I'm making some videos on skip trowel. This is a skip trowel design texture. This is done after you do the patch process. Depending on your region, you might have a different type of texture. This is more of a newer type texture done in houses, I'd say in the 90s to present. Different areas, different regions have different types of skip trowels. There's always different type of textures. I'm located in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, so this is the type of texture in Arizona. I do it all the time. It's in all the newer homes, track homes. Pretty much 50% of my houses I do is either a skip trowel or a spray texture. So this is a skip trowel. People are amazed at this, how it's done. It's a very easy to texture once you learn how to use and apply it. So let's go ahead and jump in and watch this video.
Let's do some drywall.
Once your patch is ready, you're ready for skip trowel. Basic tools with skip trowel, you always want a water bucket, clean water bucket, sponge, a pan, knife. Always use a 6-inch knife. A lot of guys use bigger knives. If you haven't mastered a 6-inch knife, then you need to stick to the 6-inch knife. A nice straight 6-inch knife will give you a perfect skip trowel design. Mud. I like to use joint compounds. This is a red line mud. Of course, your area, you might not have a red line. If you're going to use joint compounds, you want to mix up that joint compounds creamy. I mean really creamy, really mixed up. Use an electric mixer, paddle, mix it by hand, but you got to have it real creamy. The mud consistency with most textures always like a heavy pancake batter. Mixed up thoroughly, you got to mix it up thoroughly. You can't have clumps and goobers inside your mud. It has to be clean, creamy mud for texture. The texture is just a cosmetic design, so you want perfect clean mud whenever you do this. I always use some in my bucket because I use it for job to job. But just watch the pattern as I'm doing. I'm just skipping. I'm using a 6-inch knife. I'm just scooping. Nice, even scoops and skip trowel. It's just easy. You're just skipping across the patch. I'm not pushing down. I'm not pulling. I'm not putting no muscle involved. It's literally just dragging across the patch and skipping. If your mud's perfect and your pressure is perfect, you'll get an easy skip trowel design. Sometimes it's easier to start on the outside edge of the patch where the existing texture is, so the existing texture will start your pattern for you. Sometimes it's easier to practice on a piece of scratch drywall. Just try until you get your pattern down. If you're doing patchwork like this, you want to make sure you go in the same direction as the existing texture. Sometimes they go up and down, left and right, every which way. So you want to follow the same pattern as the original texture. Always take your texture out past your patch so it blends in nicely. But this is just a basic skip trowel texture. Maybe you're trying to do a home improvement job, room addition, new wall, and you want to do a different type of texture. This is an easy type of texture, but you always want to practice until you get your consistency down with your mud and your texture pattern, because you don't want to switch halfway through the job and do something else. So you want to get your technique down, lots of practice, just go slow. A lot of guys out there use these big 18-inch, 20-inch knives, big knives, but it's easier to use a 6-inch straight knife. Once you can master this 6-inch knife and you get perfect knife control with your 6-inch knife, then you can upgrade to an 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, 14-inch. A lot of guys want all these different knives, but they haven't even mastered the 6-inch knife. So always start with the 6-inch knife. My tools, my go-to knives are always my 12-inch knife and my 6-inch knife. I use those 98% of the time for most of my patchwork. So you don't need to buy 100 different knives. Nice 6-inch knife, nice drywall pan, and then a coating knife like a 10 or 12-inch knife is perfect. All you need really for basic drywall repairs. But this is a basic video, drywall skip trowel. Maybe you didn't like the skip trowel as heavy it is. You can always trowel it down more. If you trowel it down, you'll flatten it out and it'll give you more of a, they call out here a Santa Fe skip. So there's variations. You can make it heavier, lighter. You can also double skip. You can do another skip trowel over this skip trowel if you want it really busy. But it's a basic hand texture. There's so many variations in depth, thick, less. You just got to manipulate your mud, add water, less water, more pressure, less pressure. And all it takes is practice and practice to make perfection. I didn't pick up a knife and just start texturing the first day. This is many jobs. There's a lot of other guys out there that have different techniques, but I work as a drywall repairman, so I do plenty of these jobs, and I'm not in a hurry. A lot of guys will bust out these big 20-inch knives, but for patchwork, you just want to take it nice and slow, blend it in. Once you get it all textured with any muds like these, you want the muds to dry overnight. At least give it a day or so. And then the next day, you can usually sand it with, I always recommend like 150 to 220 grit sandpaper. Just to lightly sand. It just knocks the burrs out of the texture. And then primer. You always have to primer your patches. That's a given. I have a lot of videos, texturing, skip trowels, drywall repairs. I'm just making another video on skip trowel because I get asked questions all the time. When I go to jobs, homeowners are always amazed on this type of texture when there's really nothing to it. It's just a skip trowel. Older homes, they used to do spray, like spray knockdown, splatters, orange peels. Those type of textures is more work involved. You have to put plastic down, plastic off the area, bring the spray rig out, the hopper, all that stuff. I have plenty of videos of those jobs on my playlist, texture playlist. So as you jump in my channel, you'll find those. Skip trowel is easier to do because all you have to do is put a piece of plastic or a tarp on the ground. You can skip and you drop a little bit of mud here and there. But there's really nothing to these skip trowels. Easy, easy, easy. Like I said, you can use joint compounds. They're always the go-to. I like to use this redline mud. If you do have redline muds available in your area, this is a powder form. You have to mix it with a paddle and a bucket and water, and you have to mix it really good and thorough. Sometimes you have to strain it to get the goobers out. So there's more prep work using redline mud, but I like to use it because it's less glue, it's creamier, it makes a perfect hand texture. But joint compounds are always good to use. You just got to mix them up thoroughly, real creamy for any type of texture. Skip trowels, Santa Fe's, sprays, all the textures have to be mixed thoroughly, and a basic consistency of most, if not all, textures is a heavy pancake batter. If your texture is a little more heavier, then you got to do a heavy pancake batter. If it's a lighter texture, then you have to add water. That's all there is to it, really. And it's just practice, practice, practice. If you're not confident, always practice on a scrap piece of sheetrock, the scrap area. If you make a mistake on the ceiling, go ahead and just trowel it off and start over. No big deal. Practice makes perfect. I have plenty of videos on my channel. Go ahead and watch. Maybe you see these videos and decide you want to hire a professional. Maybe you see these videos and you want to do it yourself. Good for you. If you're going to do it yourself, have at it. But just practice, 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 and watch these videos. Hey, thanks for subscribing, liking these videos. The channel's growing. I'm going to create more videos as I get more watch time. I got plenty of subscribers. Now I'm trying to get watch time. So please share, like, comment, anything. Thank you.